Hello everyone, welcome to the Cherry Heart podcast. This is episode 65 and I am Sandra, and this is a crafty podcast featuring crochet, knitting and sewing mainly, with some other crafty bits and bobs on the side. So welcome. If you are new, checking me out for the first time, it's lovely to see you here and I hope you enjoy it. I hope you feel welcome and will want to come back. And if you are a returning viewer, well done and thank you so much. Thank you for putting up with me and coming back. It's really appreciated. So let's get on with the nitty gritty. Show notes for this podcast, which will have links for anything I talk about, as well as more pictures and other such useful information you'll be able to find on my blog, which is cherryheart.co.uk. Yes, that's right, cherryheart.co.uk, and I shall also put a link to the show notes down in the down bar below if you are on YouTube. And I also link them in Ravelry as well, in my Ravelry group, which you are also welcome to join. That's called Cherry Heart's Cozy Corner, and you can just search for that on the groups tab. And last of all, I'm mostly active on my blog, obviously, and also on social media. Instagram, you'll find me as Sandra Cherry HRT, and elsewhere on the web, I am Cherry Heart. I think that's everything. Hello everyone, this is Editing Sandra here. I just realised while I was going through what I recorded earlier, I completely forgot to say that I went to the Starcraft Blog Stars meetup the other weekend, and while I was there I grabbed some vloggy footage to pop together to show you, to try and give you a bit of a feel of what it's like when we go up there. So yeah, I'm going to snip that together and pop it on at the end of the podcast. Yeah, and I completely forgot to mention it earlier, so I'm just interrupting everything to tell you that now. But I shall let you get back to the regular scheduled programming now. Okay, bye. I've got noise going along now. What a marvellous start. There's an aeroplane going above. And the dog's kicked off. Isn't it all going swimmingly? Come on then. So we have an early visitor today, Mr. Bertie Dashhound, don't lick my face, is squeaking and making noise. You were curled up in your bed a minute ago, what happened? What happened? Right, so I think the plane has gone. Are you going to settle on me now? Oh, I didn't bring up... There's something else I have to show you, and I didn't bring it up to show you. I'll perhaps do that in a moment. Let us begin. So first off, I normally show you what I have worked on, what I've finished, and I think for continuity's sake I'm going to show you my heart socks first, because, just working out the best side to show you here, because these were a work in progress on previous podcasts, and now I've finished them. What are you doing? Putting his paw up on the desk as if he's thinking he's going to climb up there, but I don't approve. That's not where you want to be. Yes, so last time I spoke about these I was having a bit of a personal disaster when it came to the stranded knitting on these hearts here. I think I was on, well, I don't know what attempt I was on, but I'd had several attempts and it was kind of just getting worse and worse. But anyway, I got some fabulous tips on YouTube and when I posted about it on my blog on Instagram. What are you growling at? There's nothing there. There's literally nothing. Is it going to be one of those? You can go down then if you're going to be grumpy. We don't want grumpy dogs up here. Right, just had an interruption from Bertram the guard dog, so we'll see. I think he's settled down a bit now. we'll see how it goes. Yes, so what was I saying? So I was having problems with this, but I got some tips, and I posted all about it on my blog, the tips I used, so I'll link to that in case you're interested in that, but I got some useful information. So basically I tried, and again, and so on attempt number 408 or whatever it was, I actually got some quite acceptable results. And I've blocked these as well, just to sort of get them as good as I possibly can. And they're really not too bad now, are they? Yeah, not perfect, but not bad. I'll show you the other side as well, just so you can see. That one's a bit more lumpy bumpy, but I think that's acceptable. So this yarn I've talked about before. It's double knit yarn, and the pattern is double knit too. I'll put the name of the pattern down because it's the Heart Soulmate Socks, or Soulmate Heart Socks, something like that, but I can never remember the person's name, so I'll pop that down here. But I've linked to it all before anyway. But yes, so it's a double knit pattern. This is double knit yarn, and it's Erica Knight for John Lewis, 100% wool yarn that I'd had in stash for a while. Yeah, so I don't really know what to say about these. I don't love them. They're okay. I quite like the hearts. These look like little, like the Love Heart Sweets to me, or what are they called in America? Someone did say that they look like them. I can't remember the American name now. I think they were called Conversation Hearts or something, but I'm not sure if they still are. But anyway, yeah, and then I decided to sort of had a bit of this colour down here that I would add these stripes. But I think that might have been a mistake. It's all right, but it sort of gives the whole thing a bit of an 80s vibe that I'm not sure I'm too keen on. Maybe just like one stripe. So I've done 2 rows, maybe just one of each, or maybe just one colour. Or maybe if I'd left it out entirely. But there it is. And because I'd sort of had so much fussing with these socks, I wasn't going to go back and change it. I also made them slightly too short. It seemed okay. And then I so I put the toe on where, you know, as I normally would, and then it seemed a bit short, but again, I thought I'm just going to block them because I don't care. I thought if they come up too small, I'll just give them to my little miss. Yeah, so there we are. Those are finished. So I'm glad they're finished. And yeah, it was an experience. It was good to know that I can, or I found a way that I can get back to maybe doing a little bit of colour work without so much trauma in future. Yeah, but the one good thing I will say about these is that they are super warm. So it doesn't specify what type of wool it is in the yarn, it just says 100% wool, but they are super snuggly and warm, so they'll be good for coziness. But yeah, so those are finished at last. The battle with stranded socks knitting. I've got quite a few things to show you actually. I haven't had any incoming goodies for a while, and I've actually got quite a few now. So I'm going to try and, I might not get them all done in this podcast because I don't want to just keep reading them off at the end. So there's a few that I've sort of are going to be able to talk about as I go along, and then I might save some till next time. But the first thing I want to say that was an incoming goodie that I got was this book, which is by lovely Emma Varnum, Crocheted Succulents. So she's been talking about this on her Instagram for a little while, and for some reason that I can't quite explain to you or myself, I was really excited about it. I mean, I knew it would be a good book because it was written by Emma, and I've had her cute crocheted animals and made some out of that, so I knew I liked her style of writing. I know she's really thorough. I know she puts lots of sort of extra helpful information in. So I know she does a very good job. So I knew it'd be good from that point of view, but I didn't think crocheting plants was something that would particularly appeal to me, but apparently it is. Because I just think they're all so cute. Yeah, I don't know. I just think they're quite fun, and she's just done such a good job of making them look realistic as well. Some of the yarn choices, like that sort of fluffy, spiky yarn, sort of yarn that you the novelty things that normally, well, I would normally run them half from, put it that way. She's just found some brilliant uses for in here. I'm just finding at the front she's got a little picture where she shows all the ones in the book. And just, oh, here we go, here's a little shot that she showed. Look at this one, if I can get it up close enough to show you. She's got that really sort of spiky, novelty, I don't know, like tinsel yarn, but she's used it for the cactus spikes. It's just so clever. So yeah. So anyway, I have been making some cactuses out of this and succulents. I actually started, I found a couple of patterns on Ravelry, so I'd started making a few. So I'd started making a few little bits, but yeah, I hadn't got very far. And then I was thinking about, well, how do you get it to actually go in the pot and sort of what do you do there? And I thought, I'm just going to wait for Emma's book because I know she'll have it all explained and it'll be just so much easier. And I was right, she has. She's got the plants, but she tells you she's got 4 different methods for how to get them sort of in the pot, and for different pot sizes. And she even gives you sort of little crocheted pots you can make. So if you didn't want to get the yourself some little plant pots, or you couldn't find any, you can actually even crochet up your own pots and everything. So it's a very complete book. I really like it. But yeah, she's just got some cracking little cactuses in here. I'm just going to show you one of my... Oh, so this is the tinsely one that I was showing you. Look at that! It's just so clever the way she's used that yarn. Devil's tongue, that's called. So she's also got a little... so she tells you the name and just tells you a little bit about where it's found and what yarn she used to create it. This one I think is great as well. It's another one of those novelty yarns to create those sort of hairy cactuses you get. It's so clever. A lot of my favourites I've actually, or some of my favourites I should say, I've actually made. So I'm going to show you in a minute. Look, this one as well, she's got all the beaded the beads on to make the sort of that little bumped effect that you get on the cactus. It's so clever. Anyway, so yes, that is a really cracking book. I would recommend that if you would like to make some... if you, like me, for some reason, are strangely drawn to crocheting a plant. I mean, on the plus side, you can't kill the things, can you? So that's a good thing. So the first one I made is this one. I can't remember what this one was called. Let me just quickly see. Pretty sure it's near the back, shouldn't take too long, she says. So this one is a Mexican snowball. I really love it. It's just so cool. Yeah, so I made this with, I've just pulled out all the kind of off, stashed bits of green yarn I had, so I've made it with that. So this was a Stylecraft Batik DK, and it's one of the greens. It's kind of like the jadey green. It's a paler one. I can't remember the names with the batik colours. But yeah, it's one of the sort of paler jade colours. But I actually held it together with some mohair I had left over that I'd made in a different project. So it's got that kind of slight hairy quality to it, which I kind of really liked. But it's got this kind of mottled, the batik gave it these really nice mottled leaves. And if you look at Emma's version in the book, she's got that kind of I'll try to see if I'm showing you that without glare. See, it's got that kind of mottledy effect as well. So I think I've recreated that quite well, if I do say so myself. So that was my first one. Then I had a few bits that I'd made up. But I thought, well, this looks like some kind of fake plants that I've heard of, with all these sort of little tendril bits hanging down. So I made a few of them, and then I wasn't quite sure what to do with them. And then I looked in Emma's book, and it turns out it is actually a plant. It's called String of Pearls. So I made a few more and finished it off as Emma said. And yeah, I've got this one. So they've got soil in. I've actually crocheted soil to pop in the pot, because I thought that would be easier. For these particular ones I made, it seemed to suit it better. So yeah, so there's that one, and then last of all, this is possibly my favourite. It's this one. It's a ball cactus. It's just so cute. It's like a cartoon cactus. Oh, this, I didn't tell you the yarn I used. So I had some paint box yarn that I've been sent. So the soil is paint box, and this is some little scraps of Debbie Bliss baby cashmerino that I had left on that one. And this one is paint box as well. This probably isn't the most realistic, isn't probably quite the right colour for this cactus, but I liked it and I thought it looked cute. And then this was little bits of baby cashmerino. I had a couple of these little flowers made up that seemed just about perfect, so I popped them on. So there we go. I'm probably going to put these in the craft room, I think, but actually I'm quite taken with them. I might make some more and put them in the house. And there's a shop quite close to me where they sell sort of these little, quite a few different styles of these little cute pots. So I thought I might perhaps make another little set of 3 and have those in the house somewhere. But yeah, I quite like my little cactus family, or my little succulents family. Yeah, so that kept me amused. They've been sitting downstairs on the down at the house, I mean, on the mantelpiece, but I shall probably leave them up here now. But as I say, I might make a few more. I want to make where is it? Here it is. It's got these tall, oh, can't see what I'm showing you, tendrily bits. That's quite cute. I want to make that one as well. And I might have a go at one of the hairy ones, I think, if I can find some hairy yarn. So yeah, well done, Emma. That is rather fantastic and very enjoyable. I think I need to do more. So that I've done. That's all I've done actually. So that's the socks and the cactuses. So now I can show you some things I'm making. So I started another pair of socks, just as a sort of bit of a background project, you know, just to pick up something simple. I've got a few things at the moment that I'm either making or I'm about to start making that require too much thinking for my liking, and that's okay when you're in the mood for it, but when you just want to sit down in the evening and relax and do something in front of the telly, you're not necessarily wanting to do, you know, lots of detailed thinking and stitch counts and trial and errors. You just want something you can mindlessly get on with. So I've started a couple of those projects, and this is one of them. So this is socks. So first of all, this is in my gorgeous new bag that I got from my friend Amelia, who is over from America at the moment, which is really exciting. So she's come over to visit the Edinburgh Yarn Festival. So me and Sam, my lovely friend Sam from Betsy Makes, who has a podcast as well, yeah, we went down to London to meet up with her. So that was so special. It was so lovely to see her in person after all this time. I've known her on Instagram for years now, and yeah, it's just one of those things you well, I never thought it would happen. You know, she's in America, I'm over here in the UK, and the chances of us actually getting together and meeting seem pretty slim. So, but yeah, it happened. So anyway, so we exchanged some little gifties, and she made this beautiful bag for me. Isn't it gorgeous? Look, she's popped a little label on it. Fabric is just stunning, and look at this lovely peachy, like it's got a little gold tint on it as well. Oh, it's so pretty, and it's so special just because she made it for me, and it's totally emotional. Tootsie moosh it was, the whole thing. But yeah, so anyway, I had to put my latest project in it immediately, of course, and I'll show you it now. So this is it. It's just socks, and this is the stitch marker she got me as well. Oh, now have I got the bit of paper? She told me who it was from. I will put it down below. I'll find out and see if I can pop it down below so I can tell you, because she had some lovely little Easter eggy ones that she was just bringing out as well. So pretty. And I've got I kept the little packet, so yeah. Yeah, so this is just socks. I've gone for 2x2 ribbing, which is out of my pick and mix pattern, and then I've got a broken rib I'm taking through for the sock pattern, which I have got one of in my pick and mix socks, but it does vary slightly from this. This I've done 2 stitches with a few more in between, but this just to spread it out a bit more. But the basic idea is the same. And then this yarn that I'm using is Starcraft one again, and this is a head over heels yarn, which is their I guess it's their sort of sock yarn, but also it's called head over heels because you could have it for shawl around your head or for socks around your heels. So it's kind of really nice for both actually. So it's a 4-ply fingering weight yarn, 100 grams. Can't remember how many yards there were to a ball, but it's a wool nylon, I believe, blend. You know, as normal sock yarn would be, so 25% nylon of some kind. But yeah, so this was from, I spoke about this a while ago, but it was when we went to the David Hockney exhibition, and we all sort of selected some colours, like a little mini colour palette inspired by one of the David Hockney paintings, and this was my colour palette. So it's come out a little bit different than we thought it would, because they matched the dyes rather than the colours, and because it's wool, the dyes came out a lot softer than we thought when we were choosing them. So it is quite a bit different from, well, it is different from what I originally imagined. It's sort of more subtle than I originally imagined it would be, but it's nice though. So I thought it's high time, this came out a little while ago, so I thought it's high time I actually made some socks to see how it would come out. And we went to the Stylecraft Blog Style meetup, which we go to twice a year, and they what was I going to say? I've lost the train of my thought. Oh yeah, so when I was there, Helen, who is Josie Kitten, she had a scarf, a woven scarf using her version, so she has a colourway out as well. And I thought that might be quite nice, so I'm going to do that with my other balls. I've got some more balls of this, so I might try a woven scarf. So I'm going to do socks first and see how it comes out like that, and then I'll try the woven scarf and see how it comes out like that. But Helen's came out really beautiful looking, so I'll pop a link to her blogging. I don't know if she posted about it, but yeah, if she did, I'll pop that in so you can see. But yeah, I quite like the idea of just a little, just basic woven little scarf. I think the colours hopefully should work really nicely like that. So that's that one in this special bag. And then I have another project in another special bag. So I got another parcel of things from a sweet friend. And she sent me a bag that she had made, which is this one. Isn't it gorgeous? Now this particular person, who prefers to remain anonymous, she's just so kind and generous, but she's originally from Poland, so she was telling me all about the inspiration for the colours used in this fabric, and she actually sent me some yarn as well. And so it's yeah, all the colours are used for a particular reason and all have a particular meaning. And yeah, she was just so really kind to share the story of that with me. So this again is just such an, you've run out of words, don't you? People are so kind and generous, and yeah, words fail me a little bit. I'm not very good at expressing myself when it comes to these things. I was telling Amelia when we met, she said, I might cry, and I was like, I might cry, but I'm a emotionally repressed English person, so I may not, who can tell? But yeah, sometimes I struggle to find the words to express myself correctly. But yeah, this is also very special to me. And it's drawstring, and it has handles, and it has pockets inside as well, look. It's got a little pocket in there. It's so beautiful. But yes, even though I can't say what it means to me, hopefully somehow I'll be able to project that it means an awful amount to me, and you'll be able to sort of pick that up through the screen. I hope so. I hope you'll realise how special it is. I don't know why I'm getting my scissors out. That is of no interest to you whatsoever. Okay, so this is an old project. Well, I say old, I mean as in I've shown you before. And I haven't really got too much further on it, but just a quick update. So I was using this cotton yarn, which is a Rowan cotton, organic cotton 4-ply, Rowan Pure Life it's called. This is the shade 751, which they've called Natural. And I was just making these little squares up, and I have sewn them together now to make these two, well, crocheted them together to make these two panels, and they are going to come together, and it's going to be a little bag. So it's going to have a long handle, and it's going to have tassels underneath, so sort of like a 70s kind of style, would you say? Sort of a bit boho, a bit sort of hippie, chicy type of thing, I guess was how you describe that style normally. I don't know, but yeah, I'm going to put sort of some sort of width in here so it's got a bit of a gusset, so I've got a bit more room to put things, and then I might put a little flap over as well. But yes, I haven't really been getting on with this one because I wasn't quite sure, and I'm still not entirely sure how the construction of it's going to go. Not quite sure how I'm going to put this gusset bit in. I could do some mini squares, or I was thinking I could just do, like when I do the strap, I could just do it long enough that it goes all the way round, and I could just sew these on. I don't really know. But yeah, I've made a little bit of progress on it last night, so I might do some more on that. I'm feeling a little bit like I want to get it out the way, because I had a bit of a mad patch of starting things, and predictably I've got to the stage where there's too many things, I need to get rid of them. So yeah, I'm feeling a bit like that needs to be sorted out so I can tick it off, so I can just have my thinking projects I've got to go and my relaxing projects on the go. Yeah, so that's where I'm at with that. What do we do next? Oh, patterns in progress. Yes, so, oh my goodness, I feel like I talk about this every single time and it's been going on. This thing here is the next pattern to come out, and it is almost there, people. At last, thankfully, it is almost there. So this is my Ziggy Interrupted pattern. It's a shawl. No, it's not. That's a lie. It's a scarf. I'll bring it a bit closer actually, just so you can see. So it's got these motif panels with little squares, but it's also got the zigzaggy striped as well. So it's based I'm only really saying this if you're new, actually, because everyone else, if you've returned, you've undoubtedly heard about the blessed thing. Probably stick to the back teeth, but yeah, it's coming soon. So it's in testing. My lovely testers have given me some absolutely brilliant feedback, which I really appreciate. So I'm incorporating all the changes and just mixing the wording around. This is one of those patterns that I sort of struggled to get out on paper. It seems simple, but actually, well, it is simple, but it's sort of, there's some, I don't know. I struggled to get it out in words on paper anyway. So although my first attempt was very sort of clunky and I've refined it, but the testers are just helping me sort of refine it a little bit more, which is good because I think it just needed that little bit more. So yes, so I'm incorporating all those changes and I'm going to get it out, people. It's coming at last. So I'm hoping it should be next week, basically. So if you're watching this podcast really quickly after it's released, it might not quite be out yet, but it will be coming soon if it isn't. But what I shall do is I will update the show notes with the correct pattern link as soon as the pattern is actually released, so that if you're watching the podcast a bit later, have a look there because it might be out by now and you can just get it. And if it's not, and you want to be if you want to know when it's coming out, you can either follow me on Instagram, so that was Sandra Cherry HRT, I'll post about it there, or you can follow the blog, which is cherryheart.co.uk, and if you just click on the blog tab, you can subscribe. There's a little, it might be this side for you actually, there's a little box and you can just enter your email address and then you'll get the blog updates. But when you enter your email address, they'll send you an email which you will have to confirm. If you don't confirm, you won't receive anything, but if you do confirm, then they'll know that it's okay to start sending the posts through to you. So that's another thing you can do if you definitely want to know when it comes out. Yeah, I think that's all there is to say about that. So thank you for being patient if you're waiting for it. And I'm almost there, I'm almost there. So that's patterns in progress. And then I think we'll do incoming goodies next. Just looking how we're doing for time. So there's one thing I definitely want to talk about. So let's talk about that because this was a gift actually from a very lovely person, again, that I saw at the Blogstars meeting, the Stylecraft Blogstars meeting. So that's Catherine of Crafternoon Treats. I've known of Catherine for a long time through blogging. I think we probably first became aware of each other, but she has a blog which is Crafternoon Treats, and she also has a podcast which is Crafternoon Treats as well. So yeah, she's got a lovely little podcast. So I'm sure you probably know who I'm talking about. I'm sure you probably follow her, but just in case you don't, pop along and check her out. I shall put the links and everything in my show notes as per usual. But she also dyes her own yarn. So she is based in Yorkshire. Well, she hand dyes yarn. It's not her own yarn, as in she has the sheep and everything. But she does have very close contacts with the mill where the wool is spun. And so she kind of knows the whole of the sort of chain, you know, sort of from sheep to her getting it to actually dye it. She knows sort of all the stages. So I think her podcast is really, I find it really enjoyable from that point of view, that she can talk about sort of different aspects of it that you don't always sometimes get to hear. So that's really interesting. And also she talks sort of quite a lot about how she dyes her yarn and different things that she tries. So that's really interesting as well. So yeah. Anyway, so she gave me a lovely gift of some of her gorgeous hand-dyed yarn, which is all of these pretties here. Aren't these gorgeous? It's so generous as well. She said, oh, I've got some yarn. And I was thinking, well, maybe think she was saying about making socks out of it, so so I thought, you know, okay, I'll get her. And then she gave me all of these ones as well. So these are all the same, so let me tell you about it. So this is South Atlantic Silky, is what she's called, the base. And it's a 75% fine UK merino and 25% of it's mulberry silk. So Catherine wanted me to try it out for socks. So sock yarn quite often has a wool and nylon blend, and the nylon is to give it strength, because obviously socks get quite a lot of wear from being rubbed around as you walk and in your shoes or whatever. But silk is sometimes called nature's nylon. It's like the sort of natural closest equivalent. So yeah, she wanted to sort of test out and see how well it held up, really. And it almost seems like complete sacrilege was to have a luxurious sort of fibre like silk and be using it on cheesy old feet, because it makes this yarn just so, oh, it's just gorgeous. So it's merino, which is soft anyway, and with the silk anyway, it sort of gives it a slight, I don't know if you can see on here, it gives it that slight sheen. But also, it's the way it's treated. So this is merino that's been, it's superwash merino. So it means it's gone through a chemical process to make it that it, so that it doesn't felt when you put it in the washing machine. So it's easier to wash. So a lot of knitters like it because it's easier to wash. However, there are problems with the chemical process. Some of the chemicals used are really quite unpleasant, and in some of the countries where a lot of the superwashing takes place, some of the health and safety isn't to the standards that we would expect in this country. So it can be quite damaging overall. But as I said, because Catherine knows about the process, these are actually treated, they get their superwash treatment in the UK. So obviously for that to happen, they have to meet the standards that we have here, which means that it's a lot safer for the people doing it, and it's slightly less unpleasant chemically as well. So I think it's one of those things where it's difficult because the chemicals, I think, I don't know a lot here, but I think some of the chemicals are basically can be quite problematic. But I think if you wanted to superwash, this is the most, well, I think, oh, she hasn't put it on here, but this is the most ethical version of superwash that you can get, and Catherine is very interested and spends a lot of time making sure that her yarn is produced in a very ethical way. So I just think that's awesome, isn't it? I think that's really important. I think and how she's talking about it and educating us about it as well is really important. So yeah, so that was really so it was really nice, is what I'm trying to say. It's really nice to get a chance to try that out and try out a product that is perhaps doing it a little bit better. But anyway, as a result of that superwash treatment, what I was going to say was is what it does to the fibres. So when the fibres, and this is all from Catherine, by the way, I didn't know any of this before, but as the fibres from the sort of, if this is the whole strand of the yarn and the fibres are all sticking out like this, when you wash them, the fibres from the next strand of yarn that will stick out, they all mesh together. And that's how it felt, and then they won't come apart. But superwash, what it does to all those sort of fibres that are sticking out, it kind of makes them bend round. So instead of sticking out like that, they kind of bend round like that. So I think in normal superwash, it sort of really strips them down and they lay down really flat, so it can make it really smooth. But in this one, they sort of more, it's a more subtle effect, so they just bend more. So as a result, what you get is a much sort of plumper, softer, well, definitely a sort of a more plumper kind of softer ply is the word I was looking for. I was going to say weave. It's not woven, it's spun, isn't it? So yeah, so it feels really sort of plump and sumptuous as well. There's a very long-winded way of saying it feels plump and sumptuous, isn't it? But yeah, so I'm excited about that. And I have these minis, so I could make 2 pairs of socks easily with all of this lot, which I quite like the look of, like the idea of. You could also make a shawl with all these lots as well. But I do have an idea for a sock that I think will look really nice in this. So I might have maybe some contrasting heels and toes, perhaps. But I quite like the idea of using these to make some lovely stripy socks as well. So yeah, and this one, so these all dyed with acid dyes, but this one was dyed naturally. Oh, what was it dyed with? I can't remember. Oh, Catherine, you're going to be cross with me. I can't remember what you said you dyed it with. She talked about it on her podcast, so. But yeah, she was just sort of explaining when she did natural dyes, you can add different things to get the colours to change. Yeah, so that's just sort of chemically dyed grey, and then that's one that's produced completely naturally. But yeah, I like the idea of those in a stripy sock. But yeah, so I shall start. I've been holding on to these and not winding them up and waiting because I wanted to show you them in this form and talk about the yarn a little bit. And then I will make the socks, and then we will see. We'll see how the silk holds up as a sock, which would be interesting. I think it's going to be an absolute pleasure to knit. You can just feel that's going to be lovely, so I think that'll be really nice. But yeah, it'll be nice to see how it wears as well, which means I'll have to start wearing them as soon as I've made them, which I don't normally do. But in the interests of research, I shall do that. Yeah, so that's really lovely. And then actually after we spoke, I got a few more things because she had a shop update, so I popped along to get a few more things because she showed them on her podcast and they're just so gorgeous. So this is a different base. So I got this one. I'll show you this main bit first. Isn't that so pretty? Look at this speckle in here. And the coral. It's just so nice. So this is Flamingo Footsie. And I know I ordered one mini and Catherine's put an extra one in for me. I can't remember if I ordered this one or if I ordered this one. I think this one might be the extra. That's deep coral. So this is a different base. So this is her Corrie Pole sock. Her Crofternoon Corrie Pole sock. So it's 80% Corriedale and Polworth wool sort of blended together, and then 20% nylon. And this is superwash treated as well in the UK. So I thought when I was ordering this, I knew it was Corriedale and Polworth, however you say that. So I knew it was Corriedale and Polworth wool. So I thought it would be sort of a bit itchy for up here. So I was thinking socks, but now I've got it. It's actually really soft and not... There is a tiny, tiny little bit of itchy if you were being hyper aware of it. But really, I could actually wear that up there. That is amazing. So I think that must be that superwash treatment where it's making those fibres sit down a bit. That is really nice. So yeah, that's amazing. That's awesome. So those... Doesn't that look perfect with that? Oh, love it. And then, so these are new colourways as well, you see, and these are, I was absolutely swooning over. And then I got this one as well. I actually just went for this one. That's what I was going to get. And then when I saw this one again, I caved and got this one as well. So this is the same base, so it's the Corriedale and Polworth again. But this is Celadon, is the colourway. And again, just beautiful minty aquary greens, and bluey greens, which I love, but these lovely acidy greeny tones in with the brown. I'm loving brown in my socks lately, browny sort of something to sort of dirty the colour up a bit. I'm just loving and speckling in there. Oh, she's really outdone herself these times. They're just so beautiful. So these are all in her Etsy shop, which is Crafting in Twits as well. And this one, I got the matching mini as well. Oh, what's this one called? You haven't got a name on this one, Catherine. Don't know what that one's called, but it's on the same listing. If you're interested, that you can just get that, or you can get just the mini. But it just blends perfectly. Look at that. I think I'm going to have to do toes and socks with both of those, because they're just, well, they're literally made to go together. She made them with that very thing in mind, and they work perfectly. So thank you. So as well as putting that extra mini in for me, she also put some stitch markers in. So thank you, Catherine. They're gorgeous. So it's got front and back progress keepers, and right side and wrong side. That's a good idea, isn't it? She's so full of clever ideas. It's our Catherine. She's a clever old stick. And she put some tea bags in as well. I'm surprised this isn't Yorkshire tea, Catherine. Maybe PG Tips is made in Yorkshire and I just don't know. So when I went to London earlier this week with Sam to meet Amelia and Marta as well, we had a lovely little time, but we had to, because we were in London, we had to meet and go to Loop. So I had to get a couple of things, but I was really restrained actually. And all I got was the latest pom-pom magazine and 2 little balls of mohair. See, wasn't I good? So let me show you this. I'm not quite sure how you say that. Isager? Zyger? I don't know. But it's 75% kid mohair, 25% silk, 25 grams, 212 meters. And again, it's just got a little bit of something. But I went for it. I don't think I'd probably wear, it's not as soft and as, it's not quite as gorgeous as the one I got from West Green Loft Yarns. It's not bad, but I was thinking like maybe mitts would be fine. So I might have it tailed double with something to make some lovely mitts. Or I've got another idea, which I'm going to keep stum about for now, because it might be a pattern, or it may never materialise. So those, oh, what, did I tell you the colour? I think I did. No, I didn't. It's colour 62. So, yeah, but it's really sort of pretty, dusky, pinky, sort of like a tawny pink, isn't it? Like a browny pink, which is gorgeous. And then, yeah, so I got pom-pom, which has got quite a few crochet patterns in that I really liked. So I'll just quickly show you those. So there's this one. I think someone else was showing these. That's water clover, which is very pretty. Lovely design on that. Which is by, oh, it says how to pronounce this. Hang on. Isa Katipiyan. They had to write in, and I'm glad they did, how to pronounce it. Let's see if I can get that to focus on there. There it is. Is that focusing? Katipiyan. Piyan. And also the other one pattern that I like is by her as well, which is this one, which is called That. I don't know how to say that either. Basically it means ferns. It's like inspired by ferns. Davilia maybe? But yeah, I really like that as well. I think that's so pretty. The only trouble is they're both made with sort of sport weight yarn, which reduces your options for a start, because you don't get that much choice in sport weight, do you? But also it's sort of like a linen yarn or a linen cotton blend. I don't think you don't get that much choice of linen yarn. So linen and sport weight is a bit of a tricky one to source, isn't it, really? But I do like both of those very much. So I have to see. I don't know the yarn they're talking about. I've never heard of. Oh, so for this one, the water clover one, Kelborn Woolens. And then the other one I also hadn't heard of. But I mean, I might be able to just get hold of it. It's just how expensive it might be. I was thinking of perhaps a more budget version, possibly. The Rerum Natura. Dererum? R-E, so D-E, then R-E-R-U-M, Natura. That's 100% linen, that one for the... for that. Yeah. Well, we'll see what we can find. Probably just looking at 4-ply is best bet, but yeah, I don't know how many options I'll have in linen. Right, I'm going to leave it there. I have got some other bits I could talk about. I'm not going to do a pod mail today, just because of time. I'll try and put some more in. I've got some brilliant questions, so thank you ever so much to everyone that asked the question. I will try and get through to them. Yeah, they might. I can only generally can only do one a podcast though, so they might build up. But anyway, yeah, I'll get to another one of those next time, I think. And I feel like I've forgotten all kinds of other things I should be talking about as well. Oh, it'll have to wait till next time, won't it? But anyway, thank you so much for joining me for this one. I hope you made it through this far. Thank you very much if you did. And yeah, look after yourselves. And I shall try and see you soon. I'm just thinking in my mind frantically that Easter's coming up and I'm not quite sure where it comes and if I'll have a chance to fit another podcast in beforehand. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I'll have a chance to fit another one in. I think I should. We're still March, aren't we? Yeah, I think we should be good. So hopefully I'll be able to see you before then. So yeah, I hope you find yourself some nice relaxing crafty time. And in the meantime, I'll see you soon. Bye! You're barking at your imagination. There is nothing there. Oh, okay, there is someone there.